Hello everyone. So today I wanted to share a few things related to project managers, especially project managers who think they are really smart or who are a bit arrogant or rude. Now, if you are a consultant, if you are a Jira consultant or admin, most likely you will be dealing with these situations, or you will definitely deal with this, or you will have to learn how to deal with this situation. And usually if you're a consultant, you spend a lot of time, or you will spend a lot of time working with people in management. And in Jira, whenever you're trying to roll out Jira or use Jira to deliver, basically managers are important because these people have to ensure that the plan is there in Jira. A plan could be as simple as a list of epics or a list of stories planned to be delivered in sprints. And apart from making a plan, apart from basically owning this backlog or issues in Jira, they also have to ensure that the status of these issues are up to date. Now, that of course involves some manual work. That also involves doing proper project management, like asking people what they have done, what they are doing. Basically, if you are, irrespective of the methodology, if you're following agile or some kind of agile, or if you're following simple waterfall model or no model at all, you have to ensure that your team, you have to ensure as a manager, things are up to date in Jira so that management or everyone can track the progress of the work. Now, these managers are usually experienced people, right? And these managers are usually people who uh, have a team, people report to them. And usually in organizations, not always, but usually, when you are in a good position, when people report to you, there is some tendency of bossiness, if you know what I mean. Basically, that I'm not really saying it happens all the time, but if you are in a position where you have to take decisions, you have to take decisions for others, you have to tell others what to do, then in a way it is part of your role. But at the same time, you have to find a balance between not being arrogant, not being rude, at the same time getting the work done, at the same time becoming or being a mentor, being someone who is always there for their team. But usually these people, because they have uh, a baggage, I think baggage is probably the right word, because they have come from maybe another team or another company, and they have some past experience. They often think that whatever they are doing or they have done in the past is the ideal way, or maybe they are, because they are old, they are in a way rigid. I think it happens when you get older. It is not always easy, not always uh, possible to change the mindset, because that is how I believe human beings are. So especially if you're working with project managers who are supposed to use Jira, or they use Jira, they will complain, they will shout about things that are not according to what they are used to. It could be as simple as complaining about why the status of my epic is not updated automatically. In my previous organization, whenever people used to update the status of the stories, the epic status was automatically updated. It could be a complaint about why the fixed version is not a mandatory field. It should be a mandatory field. It could be a complaint about can we automatically close the epics after completion. In my previous organization, it used to happen. Or it could be a complaint about some app which is missing that was helping them, or it was basically some kind of configuration that was more in line with what they are used to work with, not necessarily what they should be doing. So whenever I have to deal with these kind of people, I try to, of course, be nice, but at the same time, because I think in one of my previous video, I think I made that video right here in the car park because I have plenty of time. I mentioned about accused of being a Jira, or accused of being an arrogant Jira admin. So if you are a Jira admin, don't really look at, don't treat yourself as a Jira admin. You need to basically have some kind of sponsorship. So let us say if you join a company where you're responsible for rolling out Jira. So the first thing that you should do is ask the person, or find a sponsor, find a sponsor who can give you that authoritative role. Of course, I'm not really saying be a dictator. You should not be, I mean, in a way, you should tell people what they should be doing because you are an expert in the tool. You know Jira really well, not really the developers or the project managers. So find and gain and ask for that authority, number one. Once you have that authority, then of course communicate it, that if someone is asking you to add a new status in a workflow and the status name is really weird, don't really accept it. Don't really do automations that are not really needed. Don't really do customizations, configurations just because someone will be happy. Do the right thing. Do the right thing that you, based on your experience, know is the right thing to do. And you might join a company where you don't really have an authority. Then of course it is in a way a problem. But of course, if you don't really have the authority to do those configurations, then maybe constantly ask for it. If let us say I'm joining a team where I'm just joining a team of an existing Jira owners or Jira administrators, where I'm just there to do my part, a bit of it, right? But if you know something is not right, if you know that there are 1500 custom fields, but in reality there should be only 200, then don't hesitate. Be open about it, be direct about it, because you can't really please everyone and at the same time mess up Jira instance. Your priority is to take care of the Jira instance. Your priority is to make sure standards are followed, and sometimes that actually means that you have to find a balance between bureaucracy and being flexible. But in this video, I actually wanted to talk about mainly don't be afraid of those experienced project managers. They might know how to manage the project, but they might not know how the tool works, and that is your responsibility. That is your domain. That is your area of expertise. And of course, be nice to them. Be open with everyone. Ask for feedback and try to give them examples. If someone is asking you for doing some weird configuration, then first try to say no, along with some supporting evidence, maybe some case studies. Unfortunately, when it comes to case studies, there are no real case studies. There is no authority that can dictate, or this is of course not really true for each and every field. For example, if you are trying to follow ITSM, then there are some authorities that actually dictates or creates these standards, and those standards are actually followed by everyone, irrespective of the tools, or they can follow it, or they can try to follow it. But when it comes to Jira, when it comes to software development, there is no clear way of there is no clear right way of working. There is no right way. There is no definite list of best practices. It is more about your experience. It is more about your feeling, and there are certain things that you should not try to do, or you should aim not to do in Jira. When it comes to configurations, when it comes to customizations, don't try to keep it simple, try to keep it neat. I've seen Jira instances where they just have 3 workflows for the entire organization. And when I say 3 workflows, maybe I'm exaggerating. I'm probably talking about maybe 5, and I'm not really joking, because you can. I mean, that is actually a possibility. Sometimes people expect too much from the tool, but you don't really have to go to that extreme length of limiting everything to just 50 custom fields or 10 or 5 workflows. I mean, create 50 workflows or maybe 100 custom fields if you have to. Sometimes there are no alternatives, and sometimes doing those customizations and configurations in Jira to solve a problem or to bring value is actually more important, because end of the day Jira is just a tool. But if you are limiting yourself, or if you are not open about it, then you might cause more problems. Because if you're using, let us say, Jira in a big organization, where let us say they have to name, they have to do some specific configuration. Let us say they have to make a field mandatory across a project, or maybe they have to add a new custom field or a status because it will help them, it will solve their problem. So make those decisions based on the feedback, based on the need, based on the value that particular small change or configuration or automation or that weird request will bring. But in most cases, you're the don't forget, always remember that you are the expert. Whatever you're doing it correctly. And I work with a lot of junior Jira administrators, and whenever I work with them, this is of course my advice to them, because one day they will become, or they will reach in their organization a stage where they will get promoted, they will manage a team, and they will be in a position where they will have to make those hard decisions. And you have to basically work on it from the very beginning of your career. And when I used to work with, I mean, I'm talking about these things because I remember in the beginning when I used to bring people to Jira, or move away from one tool to Jira, let us say Microsoft Project Server or some other tool to Jira, then sometimes you have to mess up things because you need that historical information, you need that information to be stored somewhere, maybe for compliance and audit reason. But after doing those migrations where I had to bring in a lot of unnecessary information, of course I realized that it's not the right thing to do. Fortunately now in Jira there is this feature called archiving, so that actually helps a lot, because in a big Jira instance, when you archive something, then of course you can expect better performance. So whenever you have old data, you have to make sure that either you remove it or you dump it somewhere else or you archive it. Earlier we used to just dump it outside Jira to maybe another Jira instance so that the data is there if you need to access it. But that is of course part of your cleanup or backup strategy, whatever strategy. But in this video I just wanted to focus on that part. Don't be afraid of those managers, project managers. Alright, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new. Thank you very much. Bye bye.